All right, today we're diving into a really unique and honestly pretty challenging worldview. The source material for this explainer presents a super provocative vision of our reality. And, as the source itself puts it, le fonti si chiamano Radio-Mandadoro. The sources are called Radio-Mandadoro. So, with that in mind, let's jump right into this vision.
Right out of the gate, we get hit with this. Talk about a confrontational opening. This isn't some gentle introduction, it's a hook that's meant to pull you right into the core theme. It basically assumes you think you're fighting the system, only to tell you that, congratulations, you've already been recruited by it.
So, what's the deal here? At its very heart, the argument is that what we think of as reality is actually a kind of simulation, an elaborate, bizarre digital circus that we're all born into. It's a pretty stark premise, and it really sets the stage for everything that follows.
To really wrap our heads around this worldview, we first have to understand the nature of this so-called circus. So let's break it down.
Wow. I mean, this quote really frames our modern existence in a pretty bleak way, doesn't it? It suggests we're all just in this state of passive consumption, being entertained by these totally artificial personalities, these indistinguishable avatars, who are basically telling us our fate, and we just keep listening. And the source uses some really specific and frankly wild language to define this circus. It's not just any simulation, it's one built on what it calls woke, zombie, online niche con artist zombie marketing. A world filled with AI personas that have become so pervasive they're impossible to tell apart from the real thing. It's a culture of total, complete artifice.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting. This brings us to the core philosophical fight that's at the heart of this entire argument. It's a clash between two fundamentally different ways of experiencing the world.
So, the source makes this huge distinction. It claims we've made a fundamental mistake in how we understand reality. We're all chasing information, but we've completely forgotten about something way more primary, something called frequency. So, what on earth does that actually mean?
On one side, you've got frequency resonance. Think of it as raw perception. It's not about thinking or analyzing, it's about feeling. It's that gut instinct, that energetic vibe you get from a situation before your brain even has a chance to start processing and, distorting it.
And then, on the complete opposite side, we have what the source calls logos. And look, this is not your philosophy 101 logos. No, here it's portrayed as a kind of corrupted operating system, a system of morals, ethics, and reason that has been, and this is a direct quote, hacked at the source to trap us in a fake version of reality. And this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? Frequency is what comes first. It's pure, it's authentic, it's the wild animal. Logos? That's the secondary, hacked-together superstructure, the simulated human. And yeah, the source uses some very direct metaphors here, contrasting what it calls the balls with the bullocks. So let's talk about this phrase, because it's pretty central to everything. It's got this cool double meaning. On one hand, yeah, it means guts, primal courage, instinct. But on a much deeper level, the source describes it as this primordial spherical core, kind of like the center of an atom or a star, from which all true frequency radiates. That's the source of pure perception. Everything else, it's just noise, just static. Okay, so if logos is the trap, you're probably thinking, how do I get out? Well, here's the twist. The source argues that the most popular escape route is actually just another part of the prison. Let's see how. And the material just throws this question right at us. Nobody see the contradiction here? It's a blunt challenge to this very popular idea that you can wake up just by consuming the right kind of counter-information, by taking the red pill.
And this is the absolute core of the trap, the choice you think you have. Red pill, blue pill, mainstream, counter-narrative. It's not a real choice at all. It's a built-in feature of the simulation, and it's designed specifically to keep you playing the game. The second you choose a side, you've validated the whole system.
So, by diving into all this counter-info, this source says you don't become some kind of freedom fighter. Nope, you just become a different kind of puppet. You think you're fighting the system, but you've just been drafted into its controlled opposition. You've joined the Matrix army. In the end, you're still this part of the circus, clapping like a seal just for a different ringmaster. So if information is a dead end, and counter-information is a dead end, then what's the answer? Well, this final section points towards something completely different. And this is where it all comes full circle, back to the source of this whole philosophy, Radio-Mandadoro. The answer isn't in some book or grand theory. It's embodied in a piece of art, specifically in a song called Cuore D'Animale, which basically means heart of an animal.
This comparison really nails the ideal state of being. You have the simulated human who's trapped by logic, by identity, by what the source calls the narcissistic mirror, but then you have the wild animal. It doesn't analyze, it doesn't have an identity, it just is. It lives, survives, and dies, operating on pure, raw frequency. It's completely immune to the circus because you can't trick something that doesn't care about illusions of self.
And this right here, this is the whole key. The wild animal's greatest strength is that it doesn't recognize itself in the mirror. It can't be trapped by an image, by an identity, by this narcissistic illusion that our entire digital circus is built on. It stays pure because it doesn't even know there's a game to be played.
So, where does that leave us? The source doesn't give you a 5-step plan or a nice, clean conclusion. It just ends with this final start command, a command that challenges the very foundation of how we exist in this circus. It simply says, stop the signal. And that's a pretty provocative thought to end on, isn't it? If every single signal is a potential distortion, what does it actually mean to unplug?